Most men think attraction is about looks, status, or smooth words. But what if I told you it's really about energy, presence, and the way you make a woman feel? You don't need to chase her attention. You need to awaken her curiosity. Stay tuned because once you understand these hidden triggers of attraction, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. If you found this powerful or eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because we're diving deeper into the real psychology of connection, confidence, and attraction, so you can become the kind of man she can't ignore. Presence is one of the most underrated but powerful forces in attraction. When a man is truly present with a woman, he's not just physically there, he's emotionally, mentally, and energetically tuned in. Most men think they need to say the right thing, look a certain way, or act in a specific manner to get a woman's attention. But in reality, what most women crave isn't perfection, it's connection. And that connection begins with presence. Presence is the art of making a woman feel like she's the only person in the world at that moment. When you look into her eyes, really look. When she speaks, listen as though her words matter more than your next response. Most men listen to reply, to impress, or to steer the conversation in their favor. But the few who listen to understand, who absorb her words without judgment or distraction, stand out. Because when a woman feels seen, she also starts to feel safe. And safety is the foundation of attraction. Presence isn't about forcing intensity, it's about calm focus. Your phone isn't in your hand, your eyes aren't wandering, and your body language is open and grounded. You're communicating without words, that you value the moment and the person in front of you. That kind of energy is rare, and rarity creates attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who can hold space, men who aren't rushing the moment, who can stay composed and patient, who bring a peaceful yet powerful energy. When you're present, you shift the dynamic. Instead of chasing her attention, you invite her into your world. She starts to feel that magnetic pull because you're not trying to take something from her. You're offering her something most people can't give, genuine attention. Presence also reveals confidence without you ever having to boast or perform. It shows that you're comfortable in silence, that you don't need to fill every gap with noise or charm. A man who's comfortable with pauses, who doesn't flinch when there's a quiet moment, communicates inner strength. He doesn't seek validation through words. He allows the connection to breathe. And that's when chemistry begins to build. Women sense when a man is nervous or distracted, but they also sense when a man is grounded, calm, and fully there. That awareness creates trust. Being present also means being authentic. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're not filtering your personality to fit her expectations. You're honest, open, and unafraid of rejection. And paradoxically, that honesty is what draws her in, because authenticity in a world full of masks feels refreshing, even magnetic. Presence isn't about perfection, it's about being real in every moment. When you master presence, something powerful happens. You stop trying to impress women, and instead you start to connect with them. They begin to feel your energy, your attention, and your self-assurance. You make them feel important without needing to say it. And that's what creates the shift from, I'm not interested, to, there's something different about him. Presence doesn't just spark attraction, it builds it slowly and deeply until it becomes undeniable. Masculine calm is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have, especially when a woman isn't initially interested. It's not about being emotionless or detached. It's about being centered, grounded, and composed no matter what's happening around you. When you exude calmness, it communicates strength. It shows that your emotions don't control you, that you can handle life and its challenges with quiet confidence. Women are instinctively drawn to men who make them feel safe, and nothing builds that sense of safety more than emotional stability. A calm man becomes a safe space in a chaotic world. His energy doesn't waver when things get tense. Instead, it invites peace and balance into every interaction. Most men sabotage potential attraction because they get reactive. When a woman seems uninterested, they chase harder, try to impress, or become frustrated. This only reinforces her lack of attraction because she senses insecurity and neediness. But the man who remains calm doesn't chase. He observes. He understands that interest can shift, that people are allowed to take their time, and that his worth isn't defined by someone else's reaction. This patience and emotional composure subtly communicate that he's high value. When a man doesn't crumble under pressure or rejection, a woman begins to wonder what makes him so different from the rest. Masculine calm also shows through body language and tone. When you speak slowly, maintain steady posture, and hold relaxed eye contact, you radiate control and confidence. Your voice carries weight not because you're loud, but because you're assured. The energy behind your words tells her that you know who you are. That sense of certainty is intoxicating. Women aren't attracted to chaos. They're drawn to the man who can remain still while others lose their balance. When she feels your stability, she subconsciously trusts you more. And attraction often begins to form from that very trust. Another layer of masculine calm is emotional maturity. You don't get triggered by small things. If she teases you, tests you, or even pulls away, you don't react with anger or desperation. You smile, you stay composed, and you let her energy come and go like waves. That emotional steadiness demonstrates leadership. It shows that you can handle not only yourself, but also the dynamics of connection. Women often test men unconsciously to see if they can handle the intensity of their emotions. When you remain centered, you pass that test without even realizing it. The truth is, women respect men who stay grounded because calmness equals control. Not control over her, but control over yourself. That's the essence of masculine energy, direction, patience, and quiet power. It's what separates the man who's easily shaken from the man who naturally commands attention. When you carry yourself with unshakable calm, you communicate that you don't need to be chosen to know your worth. And often that very calmness becomes the spark that changes her perception, from seeing you as just another guy to seeing you as the kind of man she can trust, respect, and feel drawn to. Playful confidence is the spark that transforms a neutral interaction into something magnetic. It's the energy that makes a woman laugh, relax, and suddenly start paying attention to you in a way she didn't before. When a man approaches a woman with seriousness, tension, or the pressure to impress, it feels forced and uncomfortable. But when he brings a playful, easygoing energy, when he teases lightly, smiles naturally, and shows that he's enjoying himself, it changes everything. Playful confidence shows that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you're not seeking approval, and that you can create fun wherever you go. Women are naturally drawn to men who can make them feel lighthearted and free because it signals emotional intelligence, charm, and genuine confidence. The secret behind playfulness is self-assurance. A man who is truly confident doesn't take himself too seriously. He can laugh at himself, joke around, and handle rejection without bitterness. This detachment from outcome is what makes him powerful. Women sense that energy immediately. When she realizes you're not trying to impress her, she becomes intrigued. Your energy tells her, "I'm already enjoying life. You're welcome to join the fun." That kind of vibe is hard to resist. Playful confidence creates an emotional contrast. While other men are stiff or nervous, you're relaxed and spontaneous. That difference stands out in her memory. Another reason playfulness works so well is that it builds emotional tension in a natural way. Flirting isn't about perfect lines, it's about energy exchange. When you tease her in a light, respectful way, it creates a dance of challenge and curiosity. You might joke about her being trouble or mock your own flaws with humor. These small, witty interactions build chemistry because they create mini highs of emotion. And emotion is the fuel of attraction. The more emotion she feels around you, laughter, curiosity, excitement, the more likely she is to associate those feelings with you. However, playful confidence is not arrogance or disrespect. The difference is intention. True playfulness uplifts both people. It doesn't belittle or dominate. It's about creating a safe space for humor, not using it as a weapon. A confident man knows where the line is. He reads the moment, adapts, and keeps the interaction light yet meaningful. This awareness makes him appear even more attractive because it shows social intelligence and emotional awareness. When you combine playfulness with calmness, you become a rare mix of grounded yet exciting energy. You make her feel safe and stimulated at the same time. Most men can do one or the other. They can be calm but boring or exciting but unstable. But when you balance both, you stand out as unforgettable. Playful confidence turns a simple interaction into connection. It tells her that you're not intimidated by her looks, not desperate for attention, and not afraid to be yourself. That's the kind of energy that makes a woman think twice, smile to herself later, and wonder why she suddenly wants to see you again. Building emotional depth is the difference between a forgettable interaction and one that lingers in a woman's mind long after you've walked away. Physical attraction may catch her eye, but emotional connection captures her heart. When you take the time to understand her beyond surface-level talk, you move into a realm that most men never reach. Emotional depth isn't about intense confessions or dramatic gestures. It's about showing genuine curiosity about who she truly is. Most people talk to be heard, but very few listen to connect. When you ask questions that go beyond the usual small talk, like what drives her, what she values, what she's passionate about, you signal that you're not like everyone else. You're not interested in just her looks or her charm. You're interested in her essence. Women feel attraction when they feel emotionally seen. That means being attentive to her tone, her energy, and the emotions behind her words. When she talks about something she loves, notice how her eyes light up and respond to that energy. When she shares something vulnerable, don't rush to fix it or give advice. Just listen and validate her feelings. This kind of empathy builds trust, and trust is the soil where attraction grows. Emotional connection creates safety, and safety allows her to let down her guard. Once that happens, attraction shifts from being logical to instinctive. She starts associating your presence with comfort and excitement at the same time. Another key to building emotional depth is authenticity. You can't fake connection. When you share your own perspectives, stories, or even your flaws honestly, it encourages her to open up too. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's magnetic when expressed with confidence. It shows that you're human, real, and not afraid of emotional intimacy. Women respect men who can express themselves without fear of judgment because it creates equality in emotional space. Instead of trying to impress her with perfection, you connect through honesty. Depth also comes from paying attention to details. Remember the small things she says. Refer back to them later. It shows you were truly listening and not just waiting for your turn to speak. When you do this, you make her feel valued in a way that very few men do. Emotional depth is built one genuine moment at a time, and those moments form an invisible thread between two people. She begins to feel that you get her, not just intellectually, but emotionally. Over time, that emotional understanding becomes attraction. She might not even realize when it happens, but she'll start craving your presence, your conversations, your energy, because emotional connection doesn't just touch the mind, it touches the soul. When you build emotional depth with sincerity, you stop being just another guy in her life. You become someone she feels drawn to without explanation. That's the power of connection that outlasts charm, looks, or effort. It's what makes attraction real and lasting. Self-respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. It's what separates men who constantly chase validation from those who naturally command attention. When you respect yourself, you set a silent standard for how others should treat you. A woman can sense it instantly, through your tone, your choices, and your boundaries. Most men lose attraction not because they're unappealing, but because they abandon their self-respect in the pursuit of approval. They chase, over-explain, tolerate disrespect, and try to prove their worth. But the moment you make someone else's validation more important than your own peace, you lose power. Self-respect flips that script. It says, I know my value whether you see it or not. That energy is magnetic because confidence rooted in self-worth doesn't need to convince. It simply is. When a woman sees that you can walk away from disinterest gracefully, it communicates something rare: strength. You're not bitter, not defensive, just at peace with what is. That calm detachment triggers curiosity. She starts to wonder why you're not chasing like everyone else, why you're not begging for attention. It makes her look at you differently, because it shows that your happiness doesn't depend on her reaction. A man who doesn't need to be chosen becomes infinitely more attractive because he's already chosen himself. That self-assurance quietly challenges her, and sometimes it makes her rethink her first impression. Self-respect also means holding your boundaries. It's about knowing when to give and when to stop giving. If she's inconsistent, dismissive, or playing games, you don't argue. You withdraw your energy. That silent action says more than any words could. You're not punishing her, you're simply choosing peace over drama. And that choice shows maturity and discipline, two qualities that women subconsciously crave in a partner. A man who can say no without anger, who can walk away without resentment, demonstrates power. Because real power doesn't come from control, it comes from self-control. There's also a deeper layer to self-respect: integrity. When you live in alignment with your values, you radiate authenticity. You don't fake confidence, you embody it. You don't say what she wants to hear. You speak your truth respectfully. This consistency builds trust. And trust creates attraction because it's rare to meet someone who doesn't compromise who they are for temporary attention. Women are naturally drawn to men who stand firm in who they are, even when it's not convenient. The beauty of self-respect is that it silently teaches others how to treat you. You don't have to demand respect when you already live by it. Every time you choose dignity over desperation, peace over validation, and purpose over approval, you strengthen your presence. That's when attraction becomes effortless. Because real confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. When you value yourself deeply, you stop asking for attention, and instead you start commanding it without a word. That's when she begins to notice, and often that's when her interest begins to grow. Energy is the invisible language of attraction. Long before you say a word, a woman feels your energy. Through your posture, your tone, your expression, and the way you carry yourself. It's not about being the loudest or the most charming, it's about the vibe you project without trying. Every man emits an emotional frequency, and women are highly attuned to it. When your energy is grounded, confident, and authentic, it draws people in effortlessly. But when your energy comes from neediness, insecurity, or over effort, it repels them, no matter how attractive you might look on the outside. That's why the key to sparking attraction isn't about manipulating her feelings, it's about mastering your energy. The first part of magnetic energy is self-assurance. When you walk into a room, are you seeking attention or do you already feel worthy of it? A man who knows his value doesn't need to prove it. He's relaxed, composed, and present. Women pick up on that instantly. They sense it in your calm movements, your comfortable silence, your steady eye contact. This kind of energy tells her that you're not performing for her approval. You're simply being yourself. And that authenticity is incredibly powerful because it's so rare. In a world full of men trying to impress, the one who's comfortable in his natural state stands out. The second element is emotional balance. Your energy reflects your inner state, so if you're anxious, desperate, or frustrated, it shows. But if you're content, centered, and positive, it radiates naturally. Attraction often begins when your energy makes her feel good. If being around you feels uplifting and peaceful, she'll want more of it. Your energy becomes something she associates with comfort and excitement at the same time. That's why it's essential to manage your emotions. Not suppress them, but master them. The calmer your inner world, the stronger your outer presence. Another part of magnetic energy is intention. Every interaction you have carries a motive, even if it's subtle. If your intention is to get something from her, validation, attention, approval, she'll feel that taking energy and instinctively pull away. But if your intention is to share your good energy, your confidence, and your joy without expecting anything in return, she'll lean in. Giving energy attracts, taking energy pushes away. When you interact from a place of abundance instead of need, people sense that difference immediately. Lastly, understand that your energy becomes your reputation. The more you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with self-respect and purpose, the more magnetic you become. You don't chase connections, you attract them naturally. Women may not be able to explain why they feel drawn to you, but it's your energy speaking louder than words. It tells her that you're at peace with yourself, that you don't need to be chosen to feel complete, and that being around you feels good. That's the ultimate attraction, one that can't be faked, forced, or forgotten. It's the silent power of a man who's in control of his energy.